Now, the next one from my review of literature is high body mass index, overweight patients. Does healthy weight positively impact longevity? And what lifestyle choices support weight management and thereby combating chronic inflammation?
Right. That's a very, very good question. The most important thing, in my opinion, is fasting. We are a species several million years old,
Mm,
and we were hunter-gatherers.
mm,
We didn't have access to Tesco's or Aldi or Marks
mm,
and Spencer,
mm,
or buying tons and tons and loads of food and
mm,
eating them so many times a day.
mm,
And the food habits today are heavily, heavily influenced by industry.
mm,
Most of the food that's in our trolley
mm,
is not natural, given by God as it is.
mm.
It is something that is man-made.
Yeah.
So this kind of access to
Mm,
surplus food has given this habit of eating round the clock.
mm, yeah.
And especially Kellogg's did a research in 90s suggesting
Mm,
are really making the whole world think breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
mm,
And so you go to the breakfast aisle and buy tubs and tubs of rubbish hard-boiled food and eat
yeah.
them to your health detriment.
Mm,
So fasting has got enormous benefit.
mm,
Obesity as such is due to eating highly ultra-processed food today
mm,
and excessive amount of carbohydrates.
yeah.
So the way it works,
Mm,
I just want to go to typical South Indian dietary pattern. You
okay.
get up in the morning, have a cup of tea or coffee with sugar and milk,
Mm,
and that gives you sugar spike,
absolutely.
and you're going
Right
to
in the
release
morning. Bang
insulin.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you released your insulin first time in the day, very first thing in the morning.
Mm,
Then you have a big plate of uh, carb-rich breakfast
mm,
with a coffee maybe at the end again.
mm.
Another several spikes of blood sugar.
So the
Then you end
insulin
up with
hormone will
lunch.
be all happy and bubbly and
Yeah, you're releasing insulin so many times a day.
mm,
And as you know, insulin is a pro-inflammatory hormone.
mm,
And the more insulin releases you do in a day,
mm,
you're gradually becoming insulin resistant.
mm.
That
That's right.
insulin is a hormone
Mm,
which, if 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 you become resistant to,
mm,
you cannot metabolize the carbohydrate that you're
mm,
consuming.
mm,
Normally, if you have low levels of insulin, the
mm,
carbs you're eating
mm,
are taken up by the cells and metabolized.
mm.
Whereas if you have insulin resistance, high
Yeah.
levels of insulin,
Mm,
due to chronic recurrent use of carbohydrate and sugars,
yes.
your insulin levels are very high,
Mm,
and these carbs will be converted into fat in your body.
absolutely.
And the most harmful place to store the fat is the tummy cavity, especially liver and pancreas.
Mm,
The visceral fat
mm,
actually gives you what is called metabolic syndrome.
mm, mm.
Metabolic syndrome is the root cause of all evils that we discussed earlier.
Yes. Metabolic syndrome is one more topic that we will be discussing in the near future. What exactly is metabolic syndrome? Yeah,
Sure.
please go ahead, boss. Yeah.
So the high carb load,
Mm,
as we typically see in South Indian as well as the common world diet today, I won't
mm,
even say UK diet, it's all over the world. The tendency is to go for high carb diet.
mm,
And that leads to insulin resistance.
mm,
And the key underlying pathology
mm,
is that blood vessels all over body
mm,
are lined by key, very important cells called endothelial cells.
mhm,
The endothelial cells will get inflamed. The
mm,
higher the level of insulin,
mm.
you develop endothelial cell inflammation.
Okay.
That's the root cause for most all the diseases that we discussed earlier.
Mm.
So we start with eating excessive amount of carbs and other kinds of food
Yeah.
without giving any breaks.
Mm.
I have to come in at this stage to say your human body is a self-healing machine, unlike a car.
Mm.
It can heal itself
Yeah.
given a chance.
Mm.
But you should ask me why we are not healing ourselves, why we
Mm.
develop pre-diabetes, diabetes, and so on and so forth.
Mm.
Because constantly the body is processing the food.
Mm.
It doesn't have the time to step back and
Yeah.
start the healing process.
Mm.
So fasting is a very, very, very important element, in my opinion, of
Yeah.
all the uh, steps that we need to take to improve your health
Mm.
in my own life as well as in my family's life.
Mm.
And lots of people I've been treating with fasting.
Yeah.
Fasting has played a major role
Mm.
in reducing the insulin resistance, reducing the level of chronic inflammation, and reversing
Mm.
many of the diseases we discussed earlier.
Mm. Absolutely. So everything is an individual topic which warrants humongous discussion, so that we will be able to let know our public who are listening to us about the importance of each and every topic. So what
Yes,
we will do, even with the fasting, intermittent fasting, we will come out with individual videos on that one.
sure,
Now,
sure.
jumping on to the next topic, my research, yes, this one. My research also suggested that, of course, smoking and also moderate amount of alcohol consumption has got an effect on longevity. How does this affect the inflammation in your research, Dr. Ravi?
Smoking is a very good way to get chronic inflammation. So there is nothing good about smoking, but it
Mm,
gives some euphoria to people who are used to that.
mm,
On the other hand, we know the various cancers it can cause, the
mm,
chronic
mm,
lung conditions it can cause. So there's no dispute about
mm,
the way smoking can damage the human body. Not only that, smokers go on to put various things into their,
mm,
along with tobacco, into the cigarettes that they make, so
mm.
adding to the harm that it can create.
Yeah.
Coming to alcohol,
Mm,
um, I would say any amount of alcohol
mm,
is actually harmful. There
mm,
is no benefit.
mm.
Well, I would say every food has got a positive impact or less negative impact, but you have to
Absolutely.
work out
Mm,
the net effect.
mm.
So if you want to say alcohol, the positive impact can be like
Yeah.
ale is a fermented food.
Sorry,
Obviously,
what?
fermentation is a big topic we need to discuss at a later stage.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So
Yeah,
the
fermentation. I
fermentation
love
part
this
of it
topic.
is useful.
Yeah.
Fermentation part of it is useful, but on the other hand, alcohol is processed by the liver just like fructose.
Mm,
So most of the alcohol that we consume is converted into fat in the body.
mm,
And that is visceral fat is what is harming us. So in the past, we used to have alcoholic liver disease as a more
yes.
common problem.
Yeah.
But now,
Mm,
the most common reason
mm,
why people are getting liver transplant
mm.
is non-alcoholic fatty liver cirrhosis.
Right. Okay. Fatty liver cirrhosis. Okay. All right. Okay.
So both
Mm,
contribute to fatty liver
mm,
and alcohol. Again, you can say red wine has got some good qualities for the heart, especially they can have some polyphenols, which are good chemicals.
mm,
But the net effect is
mm.
not even zero, it's
Mm.
negative.
Yeah.
So if you like having alcohol that gives you a little bit of euphoria, positive feeling of well-being, that's good. But think the next day you're going to have the negative effect. You're going to feel low because you go
Yeah.
high, you have to come down.
Mm,
So if you are able to avoid alcohol, I would say it's
mm,
no good for you.
mm,
And even the UK NHS has accepted, after
mm,
long struggle,
mm.
There are several cancers caused by alcohol,
Mm,
and there are leaflets in GP practices now, alcohol and seven cancers or something like that.
mm,
To start with the list of cancers,
mm.
uh, lips, cheek, oropharyngeal, esophagus, stomach, pancreas, liver, gallbladder, colon, breast, and the list is endless.
Everything associated with
Yeah,
alcohol.
alcohol. Yeah.